Have you ever wondered why some sounds are just noise, while others are music? The answer isn't in the sound itself. It's in the space the sound is created in. In human relationships, this is entirely true. We, as men, are often taught to fill the space. We fill it with words, with actions, and most often with empty compliments. You've said it 100 times. You're beautiful. You think it's the right thing to do. It's polite. It's affirming. But here is the truth few people dare to say: it is an empty sound. It is noise. It's not because beauty doesn't matter. It's because those words, when spoken from habit, have lost all their weight. They are a pre-programmed script. And women, especially the deep women you seek, can sense that programming instantly. Your compliment doesn't touch her. It only touches the surface, the shell that the whole world can see. And the worst part is, it unintentionally reveals a truth about you. You are seeking something. You're offering a compliment like dropping a coin in a vending machine, hoping for approval or attraction to fall out. You are in performance mode. And when you are performing, you cannot be present. Today, we are not going to talk about what to say. We are going to talk about how to be. We will explore an idea that can completely change how you connect with others, not just in love, but in every aspect of your life. We are going to talk about the law of emotional echo. This is an exclusive principle I want to share with you. The law is simple. Your relationships do not mirror what you say or what you do. They mirror exactly who you are on the inside. The universe, and the woman in front of you, doesn't respond to your words. They respond to the emotional frequency you are emitting. If you emit a frequency of neediness, of needing to be approved, you will get back distance. It's like shouting into a canyon and only getting back the empty echo of your own voice. Your compliment, "You're beautiful," when it comes from a place of need, is actually screaming, "Please like me. Please validate me." And she hears that, not with her ears, but with her intuition. Conversely, if you emit a frequency of solidity, of internal wholeness, of non-judgmental presence, you will receive trust and openness. Imagine you are a mountain. You don't need to shout to prove your existence. Your silence, your solidity, is an attraction in itself. Your presence matters more than 1,000 compliments. I remember sitting with my father once. He wasn't a man of many words. I was going through a crisis at work, feeling like a failure. I went to him, expecting advice, encouragement, or an "I'm proud of you." He just sat in silence and poured me a cup of tea. He sat there completely present with me. He didn't try to fix me. He didn't try to fill the air with empty platitudes. He was just there. And in his solid silence, I felt safer than any praise could have made me feel. His presence told me, "You are safe. You are not broken. Everything will be okay." That is the law of emotional echo. My father emitted a frequency of solidity, and I received peace. When you tell a woman, "You're beautiful," you are focused on what she looks like. But what she truly craves, what her soul is searching for, is a man who can see who she is. So how do we change our frequency? How do we shift from the noise of performance to the music of presence? It starts by changing the question. Instead of asking, "What can I say to impress her?" ask yourself, "What am I feeling right now? And what can I see in her beyond the surface?" When you truly observe, you notice the little things. You notice how she pauses for a half second before she laughs, as if she's censoring her own joy. You notice the passion in her eyes when she talks about her work, even if she's trying to be modest. And when you speak to that, you are no longer complimenting. You are seeing. You might say, "I notice how you truly listen when people talk. You're not just waiting for your turn. That's rare." Or, "There's a powerful energy in the way you defend your point, even if your voice shakes a little." It's fascinating. These statements are not a tactic. They are the result of presence. You have stopped performing and started listening with your entire being. Here is a psychological exercise for you. The next time you are with a woman, try the 30-second silence exercise. Instead of immediately filling a pause with a question or a compliment, just take a deep breath and observe. Observe the air in the room. Observe her body language. Observe the feeling inside you. Are you nervous? Are you trying to be liked? Just notice it, without judgment. When you feel grounded in your own silence, when you no longer need anything from her, that is when you can say something real. And that one real statement, whatever it is, will have more weight than 1,000 compliments, because you are no longer noise. You have become music. But becoming music isn't just about observing the easy things. Yes, we are all drawn to a woman's light, her bright smile, her sharp intelligence, her kindness. That is her performance, the part she feels safe showing the world. But what about the other parts? What about the quiet anxiety she hides? What about her irritation when she's tired from a long day? What about her indecision, her inner conflicts, or her fear of being judged? This is called the shadow, not shadow as in evil, but the parts of her soul that haven't been illuminated, the parts she herself tries to hide. And here is the truth. When 99% of men are confronted with that shadow, they do one of two things. One, they run. They see the complexity, the imperfection, and they look for someone easier. Two, and this is worse, they try to fix it. When she expresses an insecurity, you immediately jump in as the problem solver. Don't worry, it will be fine. You shouldn't feel that way. You just need to be more positive. Do you know what you just did? You just accidentally told her, this anxious, complicated version of you is inconvenient. I cannot handle it. Please go back to being the beautiful, happy version I preferred. You failed the test. You proved your presence is conditional. You are only there for the light, and her soul instantly closes. True masculine presence, the solidity we are seeking, doesn't do either of those things. It does a third, it contains. Have you heard of the Japanese art of kintsugi? When a precious piece of pottery breaks, the artist doesn't throw it away. They also don't just glue it back together to hide the crack. They meticulously reassemble the pieces, using a special lacquer mixed with pure gold. They don't hide the cracks. They illuminate them. They turn the brokenness into the most special, beautiful, and strongest part of the piece. The break is not the end. It is part of its story, written in gold. The human soul is exactly the same. Her cracks, her fears, her past experiences, her imperfections are where her story is held. A man who is performing tries to cover those cracks. But a man who is present looks at them and reflects back their beauty. When she says, I feel so stupid for being this anxious about my presentation tomorrow, the performing man says, no, you're great. You'll do fine. An empty dismissal of her feeling. The present man pauses, looks at her deeply and says, the fact that you care this much, it just shows how responsible and passionate you are. That anxiety is just the other side of your dedication, and I see that. Do you see the difference? You didn't fix the anxiety. You took that crack and coated it with gold. You looked at the shadow and named the light hidden inside it. This is the pinnacle of psychological attraction. A woman is not aroused by a man who needs her to be perfect. She is liberated, opened, and deeply drawn to a man who has enough solidity to allow her to be imperfect. He doesn't run. He doesn't judge. He doesn't fix. He is simply there, as solid as a mountain, and his presence says, all parts of you are welcome here. Here is your next practical exercise, the golden reflection exercise. This week, when you talk to anyone, a colleague, a friend, or your partner, listen for a crack, a complaint, an insecurity, a moment of self-doubt. Your mission is to resist the urge to fix it. Instead, find the gold hidden inside that crack. If they say, I hate that I'm so sensitive. I get my feelings hurt too easily. Find a way to reflect. Is that sensitivity also the source of your incredible empathy and creativity? Practice this. Practice looking at human complexity and finding the beauty in it. This is how you move from being a good man to an irreplaceable man. You have learned to see the light and honor the shadow. But there is a level even deeper than this. It is not about what you see or what you say. It is the power of what you don't say. For most men, silence is a failure. It is a terrifying empty space in the performance. When silence happens, we panic. We rush to fill it with another question, another compliment, another bad joke. Why? Because in silence, we are forced to confront ourselves. We confront our anxiety, our need for approval, our fear of being judged. Rushing to speak is just a way to escape our own discomfort. But you must understand this. There are two types of silence. There is awkward silence, which comes from the anxiety of both people. And there is powerful silence, which comes from the solidity of one person. Powerful silence isn't empty. It is a container. Imagine you are walking in a forest. The anxious man is like someone stepping on dry twigs, making noise, scaring all the wildlife away. The present man is like an ancient 1,000-year-old tree. He is rooted, perfectly still, and only in that stillness does the true life of the forest dare to emerge. The deer steps out. The bird begins to sing. A woman's soul is the same. Her realest thoughts, her deepest wounds, her truest desires. They will only emerge when they feel absolutely safe. When you hold that powerful silence, you are communicating a message stronger than 1,000 words. I need nothing from you. I am not afraid of your truth. Take your time. You are safe. This breaks every script she's ever known. She is used to men performing. Your silence, your complete comfort in saying nothing, it pulls her in. It forces her to move toward you. She starts to wonder, what is he thinking? She begins to want to fill the space that you are now powerfully holding. You are no longer the pursuer. You have become the center of gravity. You have created a safe space for her. You can be silent, but what about you? One of the most toxic myths taught to men is that vulnerability is weakness. We think we must always be the rock, the problem solver who is never afraid or in doubt. This is wrong. You must make a clear distinction. There is uncontrolled vulnerability, which is complaining, making her your therapist, and emotional neediness. That pushes women away. But then there is controlled vulnerability. This is a conscious choice. You choose to reveal a part of your inner world, not for validation, not to be coddled, but as a gift of trust. A man who is performing brags about his wins. A man who is present shares the lessons from his failures. You don't have to share your deepest traumas. Just a moment of truth. For example, instead of pretending to know all the answers, you might say, most of me feels confident about this decision. But I have to admit, there's a small part that's feeling pretty scared. It reminds me of a time I failed. What does this do? First, it builds trust. You show you trust her enough to see your crack. Second, it gives her permission. By showing your imperfection, powerfully without collapsing, you allow her to be imperfect. You deepen the safety of the container you've built. Third, it shows true confidence. Confidence isn't never being afraid. Confidence is having the courage to face it and name it. Here is your exercise. The core share exercise. This week, find one appropriate moment and share one observation about your inner world. Not a complaint. Just a fact. I realized today I was being pretty judgmental of myself about, or I'm learning to be okay with not having the answer to everything. Share it as a statement of fact, not a plea for help, and watch how it changes the air between you. You've shared. You've held space. But to complete your solidity, you need one final element: boundaries. A safe space is not a no-rules space. A mountain is strong because it does not let the wind decide its shape. The performing man is a people pleaser. He is afraid to say no. He is afraid of upsetting anyone. He will change his opinions, cancel his plans, and ignore his own values, all in the desperate hope of being liked. He has no boundaries, and therefore he is not trustworthy. A present man knows his values. He has clear boundaries, set not from anger, but from self-respect. When she does something that crosses your boundary, you do not attack. You do not pout. You simply hold your ground, calmly and firmly. Let's say she is late for a date without letting you know. The performer swallows his anger and says, "It's okay," while seething inside. The present man says calmly and without judgment, "I understand things happen, but my time is very important to me just as your time is. Next time, if you're running late, can you please let me know?" Do you see? No blame. No punishment. Just a clear statement of value and expectation. This is incredibly attractive. It shows her that your solidity is real. You are not a doormat. You are a mountain. You can contain her emotions, but you will not be controlled by them. The safety she feels with you multiplies because she knows that this man cannot be broken. We have built the entire psychological structure. Now, we connect it to the physical. We've talked a lot about psychology, but attraction ultimately is also physical. The classic mistake men make is thinking that desire is built through physical escalation. Touch the hand, touch the back. They follow a script, but that is mechanical. The truth, as the great psychologist Esther Perel says, is this: eroticism is in the imagination. It is in the space between. Your goal is not to take physical intimacy. Your goal is to create the conditions for it to become the natural, inevitable next step, and you do that with the very tools we have just been sharpening. It is your gaze. Not the predatory stare, but the powerful silence expressed through your eyes. It is the look that says, "I see you. I see all of you, the light and the shadow, and I am not looking away." It is your voice. When you speak from a grounded place inside, the law of emotional echo, your voice naturally becomes lower, calmer, and more resonant. It communicates safety on a physical level. It is anticipation. Because you are not rushing, you are comfortable in silence, you have no agenda. You create anticipation. You build tension. You are not trying to grasp, so she begins to wonder, what would it feel like if you did touch her? You let her imagination do the work. For a woman, emotional opening must come before physical opening is truly desired. By focusing on her soul, on her shadow, you are engaging in the most profound form of foreplay. The words you say now, like "I notice," or "that in you is fascinating," when spoken with that grounded energy and that gaze, they feel like a touch. They land on her nervous system, not just her ears. We started this journey trying to say something. We end it by becoming something. This is the final transformation. The goal was never to learn cool lines. The goal was to become the man who doesn't need a script. You have stopped being the anxious performer, trying to win applause from the judge. You are the stage, the strong, safe, deep, and solid stage, where she can finally stop performing, where she can take off her armor, where she can be herself, completely and truly. This is what she craves, more than your compliments, your money, or your status. She craves a man whose presence is so solid. It gives her permission to be free. And here is your final exercise, the do-nothing exercise. This next week, throw out all the tactics. Your exercise is to be. Focus on your breath. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Listen more than you speak. Observe without judgment. Honor the cracks in others. Hold your boundaries with kindness. Let go of the urgent need to be liked. Just be present. And watch what happens. This journey doesn't end here. This is just the beginning. The real transformation is not in what you learned, but in how you choose to live. If this conversation sparked something in you, if you feel you are ready for this journey of exploring your own depth, then here is your next step. Join our community. Hit the subscribe button and ring the bell, because this is where we will continue these deep dialogues beyond the shallow advice. And more importantly, leave a comment. But not a normal comment. Share your gold. What did you learn about yourself in this video? Or which exercise will you practice first? Your sharing is an act of presence. Keep exploring. That awakening is waiting for you.